the seed in our homeland, boys. Let it grow where all can see. Feed it with our devotion, boys. Call it the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Save it from the storm, boys. Water down its roots with tea. And the sun will always shine on the old Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. March along with the piper, boys. We were born forever free. Let's go pay the piper, boys, beneath the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shot for the rifle. Whether you're making from a pistol or concealed carry, we have website again is www.guardian.com.
Silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Evening Intelligence Report. I'm Mark Hornke.
I'm Larry Lawson.
One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, southwest, east, northeast, and south. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio on YouTube, live stream, in theory. Well, let us know how that's going. And we are on AM and FM micro stations, AM and FM conventional stations, CB base stations, and Ultranet Hallmark and Golden Spike technologies, east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon to all of our friends out there in Lower 49, including the great state of Jefferson, the CONUS, the outlying two states, territories, and the clock. Larry, it's 8:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What's the date today, and what's it like down there in your part of the middle Midwest? Because we're in the Old West, people. That's why it's called the Midwest now. Anyway, jump in there, Larry, please.
Well, this is the 20th of October, 2020 AD. Rain today, rain yesterday. We're finally getting rain that we haven't seen most of the last half of the summer here. Most of the first part of the summer, I ended up having to run a garden hose 1,000 feet to water gardens here, and then it dried up for like 2 months here in Indiana. Now we're getting rain and rain and rain. So I'm trying to get a roof on a place here and get ready for winter. But we'll see what happens here in November. There's lots and lots and lots of yak about them lighting the country up if they put old Trumpy back in, which seems to be the scripted plan. Gosh, are you really surprised about the October surprise here? They're talking about Hunter Biden and all his prostitutes and stuff. And gee, nobody's talking about Epstein guilty Trump and, you know, his history with Jeffy and Ghislaine and schmoozing on Rudy Giuliani and drag, and you know, nobody's talking about Jared 666 Kushner anymore. They're all focused on Hunter Biden and, yeah, whatever. They're all garbage, folks, all of them. You think I'm going to cheer the fact they're going to put anti-gun...
I don't even know, you know, real quick. Well, hold on, Larry. Here's the thing. Before we go any farther, guys, we just need to look at the candidate. We don't even look past the supposed candidate. I mean, there's not an ad you can find where they didn't have to edit half a sentence, where they had to, you know, he if you pay attention, if you're refined at all, and most of you guys, just listen, you can hear the step where, because he does have a bit of a melodious voice, okay, to a degree. The problem is you have to slide the scale up and down to get things to join, and sloppy people in propaganda don't do that well at that. So if you notice, he never can finish in any of his activities where they've actually got him sat down. You know, they didn't have him running along doing this while he's in the limousine, right? They sat him down, and they still couldn't get a straight, complete sentence the way they wanted, so they had to do part of it, and then do a reset, and then do a reset again, and then they took the best of the front and rear of whatever sentence and put it together. Well, is that the person who in any way, shape, or form qualifies to go anywhere near any part of the bureaucracy, let alone be president? There is no possibility physically that this person is eligible to run for president of the United States, period. Let's just go right there. You don't even have to go any farther. And then the rest is all pickle, smoke, and mirrors. I personally think, Larry, the reason that they stopped the second supposed debate is that if you plug whatever electrodes they are up their arse when they get them running, you know, like Hillary the Hutt, okay? Remember several times, Larry, you saw it, she kind of looked like somebody stuck a cattle prod up her hind end and she went stiff in all directions, right? Remember that?
Shaking all over the place, yeah.
Yeah, and they like, okay, guys, I don't doubt that they have the TIMS technology pretty well worked out, the RISE technology is all worked out, and I think that they were able to, you know, buzz shock these characters between drugs and buzz shock. They can get them to stand up for so long, but how many times can you do that in a row? In fact, how much time do you need between, drugs and buzzshotting and having to, oh God, we can't do that again. The batteries will go down. I mean, he will not come back up off this. Well, we got to do it. We got 3 of these stupid events. Figure out a way. Tell the other half of the fakery that we're going to cancel it for some reason. Well, we can't cancel it. Yeah, right. Well, if Trump cancels it, it sounds like, well, Biden was so dynamic. Was Biden in any way, shape, or form dynamic in any way in anything you've seen in the last couple of, years, let alone the last couple of months? Think about it. So what they did is they knew they couldn't put the electrodes up his hind end and hook them up to the 12-volt battery or 24, because if they did, they'd fry the system. Now, we've got whatever BS they're having recently here. They had to have enough time between the events where they could stick the electrodes back up his hind end, attach them to his gonads, so they have a complete circuit. And they can keep him kind of standing there, with the eyes fully dilated to the point where, it's like there's 2 pits. That's what you got. It looks like a sci-fi episode where the guy puts the black contacts on, Larry, right? Pay attention to their eyes, guys. Biden looked like that the last time they had him standing up for any period of time. This time around, I'll guarantee they might even put contacts. Of course, he might screw up and put the wrong color in. Who knows? But he's definitely wired. And we say wired, we're not just talking to be told how to speak. We're talking wired as in he was wired to make him move.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if they did 2 different color eyes, that would be really hilarious.
I think it'd be poetic for them to do that. It'd be kind of fun. Anyway, go ahead, Larry, please, jump in there. But the candidate by itself is enough. We don't need the extra. Not that the rest of the turds aren't turds, but just the idea of what this critter is all by his lonesome is enough to say there's no election. It's a farce.
No, the whole thing is a farce, and you can tell because they ran an exercise several months ago of election confusion and uproar, and the Israelis are involved in that just like they've been in all the practice exercises that they've done. So this is a scripted farce. It's good cop, bad cop. No matter which one they put in, you still got a deviant pervert who's going to do everything they can for our real Epstein raping, blackmailing, 9/11 murdering, ISIS, Beirut nuking parasites of Tel Aviv. Our real enemy. They're deflecting to China, but China didn't do 9/11. Israel did. China didn't do Epstein. They didn't murder our girls to blackmail both parties. Israel did. And they're not ISIS. China's not ISIS. That's Israel. Our guys are getting killed over ISIS. Our boys are back in Syria stealing their oil for Israel. They're in Iraq for Israel.
ATF.
Not China. So China's not the problem. Israel's the problem. Israel takes our military technology and sells it to China. They're absolute garbage. Both parties, both of them. So they're trying to get people to actually feel good about putting Trump back in because they're showing somebody so horrible. But Trump's the same garbage we've always had. Who has he put in office? Who has he empowered? Bolton, Pompous, Gina Haspel, Esper, Elliott Abrams, you getting the picture here, Munchin, Goldman Sachs Munchin, all the same garbage that we always had. He's turned the Federal Reserve over to Blackstone, which is the Israelis. He gave Gates Gavi Group $1 billion for the vaccine, that he wants to force on. He says you're going to be forced to do it, but the military is going to come bring it to you. In a powerful way. Those are Trump's moronic words. Your 4D chess player. He's a moron, okay? He's just the same garbage we've always had. Remember Pompous standing up there saying that, this is a live exercise, and Trump mumbles, they should have told us. That's what this COVID thing is a live exercise. And it's not a deadly pandemic with a 99.9% survival rate. Hospitals weren't filled up. They had to lie about all that. They've been lying about it since day one. So, yeah, Trump's part of the problem. He's the one that oversaw the destruction of this country's economy. He just sat by and let him do it. And then he turned around and pretended like he's Well, I don't like the WHO, I don't like China, but let's give Gates Garvey Group $1 billion for the vaccine. Well, where's the difference there? Gates is the one that empowered and told Fauci to go work with the Wuhan lab. You know, it's all the same garbage. So you're not doing anything. You're not saving the republic by voting against Biden, putting Trump back in there. You're just validating what they want you to do. He's a puppet, folks. You know, just like Home Obama was a puppet. Home Obama created ISIS for the Israelis. He called himself the first Jewish president. You know, he's not a Muslim. That's disinformation. He called himself the first Jewish president, created ISIS as a proxy army for the Israelis. Trump has continued that tradition by funding, arming, and rescuing ISIS and using them in various countries. Iraq, the Philippines, you know, Syria, same garbage. But it's a big psyop, and people are falling for it left and right. It's a shame to see, but that's what we've got in this country. We do not have a two-party system. We have one-party system. It's the warmongering surveillance state, and the Republicans and Democrats are part of it. The Republicans need the Democrats to pull this garbage so that they can look like the law and order party. Get it? I mean, they've been doing this garbage for years. They've been doing this in other countries for a long time. The Zionists work both sides of the aisle. That's the way they work. So, and they've already said, both parties have said they're loyal to them. That's all I need to hear, Mark, is, you know, they're loyal to our enemy, which did 9/11, which is ISIS, which ran the Epstein op. That's Mossad. You get that? Ghislaine Maxwell worked for Mossad, Israel, you know, to blackmail both parties to serve them, which is what they're doing. You get it? You get it? You get it? Most people here do. We're preaching to the choir, but it's just sickening to see online everybody cheering on Trump. Well, we'll protect my gun rights. Really? I saw some kid with a shirt on. I said, yeah, who passed the bump stock ban? Yeah, who told Dianne Feinstein to take guns first and pass laws second? Who with his daughter pushes red flag laws, you know? So by the end of that conversation, the kid had actually learned something. Probably wasn't happy about it, but, you know, that's Trump, folks. Trump did all of that. You know, Biden, yeah, he's just as bad, but you're getting the same garbage with Trump. The ATF is mouthing off now and going, you know, talking about going after gun owners now, and Trump's in there.
As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what we're going to do right now. Let me play this for you. You may not have seen it yet. It's, of course, for today. And for everybody out there that is familiar, if you're familiar with, again, guns and gadgets, ATF still coming for pistol braces. Now, I told you. Now, I'm going to stop and do this intentionally. I told you so. I told you so. And I told you so. Guess what? Now, you're going to hear something here in a minute. They said, so as soon as we heard about this, people started blurting out, well, it's only one company. It's only one company. Trump didn't know. The ATF, Trump's ATF, they're not doing blah, blah, blah. BS. Rule number one is, again, the industry tries to be quiet when it knows it's selling a product and it wants to get rid of the product and it's selling it to you, even though, guess what? They know that something else is happening because they want to get rid of what's on the shelf. But then it's your problem when it's off the shelf, right? Hint, hint, hint. Well, the next foot, which logically comes after Trump signed off on the, I don't care about bump stocks, for all those idiots and fools out there who made that comment. Really? Well, here's where arbitrary and capricious rubber hits the road. Listen to this, because this is what I told you what was actually going on days ago. And now you're hearing the rest of it. So I heard this from other people that were in the business that I just casually talked to for the last 20, 30 years. But what's interesting is now it's pretty well confirmed, but it didn't take long because, well, they are coming after everybody's stuff, aren't they? Here we go.
ATF is still after pistol braces, and it looks like Q wasn't the only one to get a letter from them. Stick by and watch this next episode of Guns and Gadgets. everybody, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. I'll have a link down below to the source of this information, my friend John Crump, who is a journalist with AmmoLand. He also is the Virginia director of Gun Owners of America. He broke this yesterday, and I am bringing it to you because what I'm about to tell you, the device that the ATF appears to have a hard on for, many of you probably have. So let's get into it. So we all know what happened with Q. I'll have links to those videos above. I'm not going to rehash that. What I will say, though, is that the ATF decided to go after Q for their version of their pistol brace that is on their Honey Badger AR pistol. They got a cease and desist order. They have not been really open as to what made them come up with this decision. Some information's come out from Q that the ATF was there at their facility for a while. They do their audits on people all the time. And while they were there, they were aware that this might be coming down the pike, but never alerted Q, and then they got their cease and desist. Last week, I did a video that the ATF, after an immense amount of pressure from the public, from members of Congress, from the DOJ, and from the White House, they've suspended the cease and desist for 60 days, of which there's probably 50 days left. Now, a lot of us, myself included, thought, hey, this is just going to get us past the election. You know, and they're probably thinking that if Joe Biden gets in, then they can go after the braces full bore because, you know, he'll ban everything. He'll ban bread and butter. But some more information has come out. So John Crump was able to find out that more than just Q as far as manufacturers, more manufacturers received the same information, same letters from the ATF. Now, according to John Crump, in 2019, Curtis Gilbert, who was the ATF's former Department Assistant Director of Enforcement Programs and Services, was talking at meetings. He didn't like the braces. Specifically, he thought that the SBA-4 from SB Tactical, was a stock. The current Department Assistant Director of Enforcement Programs and Services, his name is Andrew Graham. He's also expressed hostility over AR pistol braces, AR and AK pistol braces. And he's done this apparently in ATF internal meetings with staff members. Now, according to John Crump, AmmoLand has found out through their investigation that the reason the ATF hasn't jumped on pistol braces yet was because they didn't think that they had the political capital to regulate them. It's all about control, boys and girls, all about control. Now, it's already on record that the Department of Justice over the last year has told the ATF through their industry side to refrain from going after pistol braces, right? To be transparent and leave them alone. Well, again, it's come out that the ATF took that as a slight, and they've used their enforcement branch now to go after, among others, Q. Now, Q is the only company so far to go public about their interactions with the ATF. But now, according to John and AmmoLand, multiple sources have now confirmed that ATF has served several other manufacturers with similar cease and desist letters. The ATF believes that certain manufacturers have pushed the boundaries with a pistol brace and have encroached on what is a stock. Now, one thing we don't know is of those other companies, if they got a similar cease and desist letter that Q did, or if they're also covered under this 60-day we'll leave you alone thing. But, I mean, you really can't tell until more people come forward, if they come forward. One thing that I've heard from several different facets of people that I am in touch with and in contact with is that the ATF is a little upset with the amount of public attention that they've gotten and about specifically the amount of citizens reaching out through agencies like GOA, FPC, and NRA, who have all had links where you can contact the White House, the ATF, the DOJ, and I will put those links down below as well, because if you haven't done it, you need to do it. Now, one thing I will relay from John Crump via his article is that if any company out here that happens to see this is also targeted by the ATF, similar to the way Q was, they would like you to reach out to AmmoLand, and they will talk to you whether on the record or off the record. But I believe more information is needed. The more info we have, then the more we'll be able to hopefully fight, right? It's a dangerous time right now. The election's looming, and the gun grabbers right now are salivating, absolutely salivating, because if Joe, Kamala, and Beto take over, guys and gals, stay tuned to this channel because this is where you're going to find that information. If you haven't already, please, guys and gals, please subscribe to Guns and Gadgets. This is where you're going to find it, no matter where it is, day or night, sometimes several times a day. This is the second video today already. And please pass it along to your friends. Thumbs up, please. That helps the algorithm. Make a couple cool comments down below. Question of the day, part 2. First one was the earlier video. What do you think about the SBA-4? Do you have it? Do you run it? And what's your opinion on this brace fiasco? ATF is bracist. All right, guys and gals, until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, carry a weapon, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.
The poor little bat faggots didn't like the fact that people knew what was going on. They like to operate under secrecy, huh?
Right, but here's the other thing. Shut up, sit down, and let them beat on you. Here's what's fascinating about this is, again, this isn't I told you so. I don't care about the shoulder braces. Oh, I'm sorry, the hand braces. Oh, I mean the shoulder stocks. I mean because I don't own one. Aren't we all supposed to take that attitude, basically? Because I'm going to point this out. A lot of the asshats who have these pistol braces were the ones who were making stupid, snide comments about the bump stocks. You don't think so? I went through all this BS video. There'd be these idiots would be chiming in. Oh, I'm special because they like me, and because the cops like me and it's the gun shops too, and so the bat faggots do, and because I got special pat on the head and squeeze on the ass, privilege because I got one of these stocks. In mine, they're not going to touch us. They're just going to touch you bump stocks because your peasants have bump stocks. That's exactly the stupidity, the angle of stupidity you were seeing with these fools. And I've seen this over and over again with these numbnuts, okay, these idiots and nincompoops doing this. And then, of course, now it turned around and, now that they're getting bit in the ass, Now, I'm not talking about the guy who does Guns and Gadgets. I'm talking about all the characters out there who find a way to try desperately to cling to the idea that Trump isn't doing this. Because this is the 4th year of the Trump administration. That is Trump's ATF. Just like that's Trump's FBI, period. Because they are under the executive. He has all the ability in the world to reel their arse in any time that he wants to. He also, when he sat down with that piece of trash, Feinstein, and all the rest of those turds, and she did her little chair dance, which they desperately tried to take out of every picture they could, when he said, we get the guns and worry about due process later. Well, as soon as that fool said that was the beginning. And then we might recall that after the fool said that, then the fool did the bump stock BS. Remember? Well, that fool's ATF is now pulling this garbage right now. So it's like, well, you know what? I'm going to remind everybody, what does this remind you of? What does any of this remind you of? Well, by the way, for any of you who are old enough like me or older, and a lot of you are older than me, we've all seen this before. Let me explain to you how this works, because with the communist gun grabbers, the Republicans are communist gun grabbers, and the Democrats are communist gun grabbers. Does everybody understand that?
Same swamp.
If the Democrats propose to burn down the Library of Congress immediately today, the only difference between the Republicans and the Democrats would be this. The Republicans would be against burning it down today and then would propose to phase it in over a burn down over the next 3 days. You see the difference? There ain't none. Does everybody understand the gist of that? If the Democrats propose to burn down the Library of Congress in 1 day, the Republicans would naysay and then propose their divine solution, which would be to phase in the burn down over the next 3 days. But they'd still burn down the Library of Congress. And they join hands and sing Kumbaya, Oiga, Vault, Ah, while they were doing it with the Democrats. Does everybody understand? Now, here's the thing. I really don't, okay. I knew, okay, this is all in our archives. We have discussed this thing about the bump stock garbage, but then also the the pistol stock garbage to begin with because, well, no, it's not a pistol stock, it's a support. Come on. I know how the hairs are split on all of this stuff. And sure, the bat faggots had, in order for them to have made this stuff, guys, and put it on a gun and sold it, it already went to the ATF. They already looked at it. They tried desperately to figure out how to say no, but they had to say yay. And so after they reviewed and the bat faggots had a sample of every product that goes on a gun. They have to get approval for the pattern in order for to put it on the market. Do you understand that? So, and then it's a registered, remember it's a registered instrument. Now let's remember something too. Specifically, these guns are made as pistols. So right off the bat, there is a whole separate criteria because all these agencies have been anti-gun for how many decades? Anti-handgun, even worse. They're rabidly anti-handgun. So if they could have, they were not going to let this slide through, period. I don't care if it was a Republican or a Democrat in there. It wouldn't make any difference for the presidency in that respect. But you know what? They couldn't because they followed the letter of the bureaucratic law, bureaucratic guidelines, because it's not really law. So anyway, they did it. They rubbed their tummy, jumped on one leg, blinked the left eye and then the right eye, and patted their head at the same time, and they got what they wanted, and nobody could say anything. So you wait long enough, and some numbnuts like the trumpet comes in, who of course is working for the same anti-gun Jewish mob, and all of a sudden, well, first it's any excuse we can find, and all those bump stocks, and we got to get together with the Democrats and figure out how to, you could write up some screw America anti-gun legislation, which is what Trump was saying when he sat down there. Remember, when you hear that, I want to get the guns first and worry about due process later. The most important aspect of that is where old numbnuts there was looking right at these other senators and congressmen and telling them, you make a deal with the Democrats and bring it to my table and I'll sign it. That was him talking. That was good old Trump-a-dump, okay? Now, this is not a surprise, but this is part of the muddy water routine. Everybody's here. Watch how this can be played either way here. Okay, the Democrats are, because there's no election this year. That's so obvious it's ridiculous. There is no election. There is no election. There is no election. Vote early and vote often, 7 or 8 times. Did you ever believe in your lifetime it would sound like some used car salesman ad? Because that's what you've got for the election right now. That's what's going on. Vote early. What do you mean vote early? You vote on one day. Everybody votes in one day. Supposedly, you count it that day. But right now, we're going to vote early, and then they're giving you all these projections with all these crystal ball numbers they're pulling out of their arse. So you tell me that we don't have an election. The ballot box is dead. So in reality, they're telling you is, now when the international bankers pick which of these two stooges they prefer to run with, you got your choice between Trotskyism, Leninism, and Stalinism, and maybe a little Maoism stuck in there. Okay, there's your choices. But whatever they do, they're already telling you that they're going to proceed. So let's say that they don't get the Democrats in there, but they play the trumpet thing. This is Trumpet's administration going after the guns. They're not going to change direction. They're already moving in this direction, people. And in fact, as was pointed out twice now, because this is the second time it's been mentioned, they all of a sudden said they were going to wait 60 days. Well, they're not kicking the can down the road very far, but they figure in 60 days the confusion will be so great that they could get away with anything. Does everybody understand that they can get away, that Trump could lie his ass off while he's busy telling all of you Katrina survivors, oh, that's right, it was a Republican that was in charge when FEMA and Homeland Security and the military went door to door to confiscate guns from people who had protected themselves because the government had abandoned them, remember? Now, can you see the bigger scenario playing out here where these punks, just like you've seen all over America, where the cops don't do jack squat because they're told not to. In fact, we can go back before this last year, and I'm going to remind you again, Fergadishu. We covered this day by day. And when Ferguson was finally under attack, there was a whole army of punk-ass National Guard and a whole army of punk-ass state police down the street that never came to the aid of Ferguson and the police force that was under attack. Those rotten, bottom-feeding Fed pigs, those guard pigs, and the rest of the filth from the state police stood down the road listening to the small arms fire and watching the flames and laughing their ass off about it. Now, you didn't survive. If that had been ratcheted up, your ass is grass and lawnmowers going through it. But on the other hand, like with Katrina, a whole bunch of people stayed in their homes. Their homes weren't ransacked. They didn't lose anything. They were on high ground. They were safe. And you know what? Government wasn't there to protect them. They protected themselves. Then that bottom-feeding, filthy government came in, and those turds attacked who? Oh, they went after the property owners that still had property that wasn't damaged, wasn't injured. They were safe, and they wanted to make sure they were unsafe. Can you see what's coming if they want to play that card? Now, I've told you before, there's going to be idiot sticks coming out to the road, and they got their shotgun under their arm, and, all right, the guard's here, hey, guys, and it'll be just like that video you saw where they were shooting those girls on that front porch here only, about a month and a half ago? Remember that one? Guard back on your house or we will shoot you. Guard back on your, remember that? They're going down the street, and all of a sudden they turned as a group, fire them up! And they're shooting up the girls on the front porch who all thought, oh, they're running in the house. They're getting tagged because they were using, hot paint gun on them. Now just picture that with idiot sticks who are thinking, oh yeah, man, this Trump's National Guard, man, they're going to be, what are you doing? Hey, why are you taking my gun? What up? On the ground. Can you picture that? Am I spelling it out for you so you smell that coffee before it gets here? There's none of them that are your friend. None of them. You all understand that? You're doing just fine. None of them are your friend. It's like that idiot's lieutenant. Oh, I didn't think I would doing this in America. Yeah. Well, you were also stupid enough to follow the orders, weren't you, asshat? So don't worry. There are stupid people down the road in uniform ready to follow the orders of the globalists to go after your guns. Period. And that's what this is all coming down to. They can't go any farther until they disarm America. So one way or another, they're coming after that. Don't be fooled by the fact that there's another team that has a fake-ass name different from the other fake-ass name, but with the same agenda.
I was just following orders.
Yeah, well, those are real bad orders. Dying. Remember what he said in Josie Wales? Dying ain't much of a living, boy.
Well, now following orders didn't work in Nazi Germany. It sure ain't gonna work this time either.
Well, they think they're working in communist Russia, where they did get away with it because people stupefied themselves by making deals with the moderates, who, of course, were betraying everybody as the moderates sided with the communists, because, after all, they could manage or handle them. And that's the same kind of stupidity they figure they're going to be able to tag us with or, rumble everything with here. We're going to put the kibosh to that one, kids. That ain't going. That's finished. I've been telling everybody for days. Like I said, I had an interesting conversation today. I said, here's what they want. They think that you're going to be so stupid, you're going to get caught flat-footed, and they're just going to, by the time you realize you probably need to shoot someone's ass, that they're going to have you over there in the ditch with a bullet in the back of your head. And because you're all smartasses and think that you're safe. And you know what? You're not.
But I support Trump. I voted for Trump.
Right, Trump-a-dump. Well, that means you're working for the Netanyahu administration, and they hate the goy. They especially hate you Christians. Real Christians, not the fake-ass ones that are bought and paid for prostitutes for the Jewish mob that's basically a bunch of Satanistic Kabbalists. Well, not basic. They are, period. Hell, even, and then there's some that aren't even Jewish that they'll tell you they're Kabbalists too. You know, it's like the Madonna thing. She's a Kabbalist. Well, no, she's not really.
His daughter. His daughter, little Princess Incest, Ivanka, has converted to Judaism and is a Kabbalist.
Yeah, well, if you understand, that's dark arts, guys.
Yeah, that's no Christian. Trump is no Christian at all whatsoever. He'll show you his little Tree of Life awards. Those are Jewish. He went to the Tree of Life synagogue in New Jersey and participated in a live fire exercise and pretended that it was a real shooting up of a synagogue. And he said, we got to get these hateful anti-Semites that are killing the Jewish people. It was a live fire exercise. Nobody died. It's Sandy Hook, Part 2. You know, home Obama legalized propaganda so they could do these things, and Trump's done the same thing. He did it with Parkland. He did it with Vegas. He did it with the El Paso shooting down in Texas, where they had 3 other people dressed in black doing the shooting. And he had one patsy coming in on grainy camera in the front door. You know, Trump is doing the same garbage. He's the same garbage.
By the way, this is a sidebar, but I want to do this while everybody's right here. We don't have to rush. There is an excellent little series. Larry, if you get a chance, go over and check this out. It's over on YouTube, and it's Bjorn Andreas Bull Hansen. That's the channel. B-J-O-R-N. Bjorn Andreas, A-N-D-R-E-A-S, space, Bull, B-U-L-L, dash Hansen. Bjorn Andreas Bull Hansen. This guy has done a great series of videos where he's focusing, from the wilderness, perspective, wilderness environment, situation. So he's got you in a good setting, and it's good person-to-person talk. But a lot of what he's talking about here, I think everybody is expressed in one form or another, and in fact, probably in many cases, exactly the way this guy does. But if you get a chance, guys, I'm going to ask that you do something. Go over to YouTube. Find Bjorn, that's B-J-O-R-N, space, Andreas, A-N-D-R-E-A-S, space, Bull, B-U-L-L, dash Hansen, H-A-N-S-E-N. Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up every video he's done. Share to any social media that you can. Seriously. And he covers a number of subjects, but of course the big thing is the issue of masculinity in the world, not just America, but what's going on all over the place, and the different conflicts that we're in, the situations we're in, and why. But also from his perspective, what does he see? It's calm. He's not intense. He's just regular. It's just calm conversation, like you're sitting across from the usual Swede or Norwegian, which I've dealt with quite a few. And these guys are pretty cool to deal with. In this case, you get a chance, take the time, sit down, and kind of listen into some of what he's talking about, relax. I also agree with what he says about getting out away from town, that we need to do it. I haven't done enough myself because we're nonstop. Every day till wee hours in the morning, and then we kick right in again. There's no vacation, and there isn't going to be any more anyway, but you'll probably be out in a rustic environment without really trying hard because of, again, battlefield situations, deployments, things of that nature as this thing escalates. This is going to be a long campaign. This is going to be a long war. So I recommend you take the time, take a few minutes and relax for a little bit and listen in. The latest one he just did is why I don't use a smartphone. But he's done a lot of other videos, and go through and seriously to help out the channel, just so people, the algorithm, of course they might just X him, Joe, the other way. But share it wherever you can. Pass the videos on through all the social media, venues. I do it on Facebook or Farcebook, Dig, whatever else, and Spreely now too, actually. So take the time and share them, but first watch. You can share while you're watching, but sit back, shut things down for a bit, and just listen and think. because a lot of what we're facing right now, we're going to have to resettle and refocus ourselves. I get pissed at what I'm seeing here, and especially the garbage we're seeing now. Writing's on the wall. It's finished. It's done. I mean, this is cooked. There is no ballot box. The ballot box is burned, shredded, and it's in the fire. It's gone. There's no realistic the solution. This is why everybody right now is saying the same thing. Everything feels wrong right now. Well, it's because there's no solution to what's coming in the next, 15 days. There is nobody. In fact, let's put it this way. They're going to try and do the crisis crap. Larry, we've seen this 100 times, right? The crisis management routine. Well, wait a minute. Everybody knows what's been going on with this election, and everybody knows what's been going on with the ballot boxes and the falderall and the tampering. So this is not a crisis last-minute thing. This has been a molasses crisis. This has been slow-mo to the point where we could fix it. You should do it right. Stop everything right now and re-index it and do it right. Oh, no, we've only got 3, 5, 6, 7, 10 months. We can't possibly fix it. We've only got 10 months, so 8 months, so 6 months. We can't possibly fix it. It's like I told you, it's like a shipwreck, only in slow motion. You're watching it, and the shipwreck has already been written in as a script, as a benchmark component of the script, and you will not be allowed to not be part of the shipwreck. It could have been fixed, could be done right. It's like every aspect of what we're seeing here, the sad part is this. Look at all the nice things that we have in this country. We have a bunch of Peckerwood, kosher mafia pieces of excrement and filth that are desperately trying to do everything they can to damage, break, or burn everything that you own. What a bunch of filthy, rotten pieces of excrement. And yet those rotten turds figure that if they do this, they're going to get some other, again, the occultic power garbage. You're going to get a bunch of us killed. They figure that we're going to get caught flat-footed. That ain't going to happen. The interesting thing is, this is what I get from most of what I experience when moving around is people coming up and making comments first and then going, and then they've got like short checklists of questions. And the only problem, it takes time. You have to actually spend time where we've got a lot of things of our own that need to be done. And yet still, it's the idea when you got somebody who's actually smart enough that they're asking questions, intelligent questions, you better be sticking to your guns and helping them, because it sounds, like they're a breath away from that ping where the light bulb goes on and they've had their final epiphany. Or they've already had their epiphany. Now they're trying to tune because they see the writing on the wall, they know what's going on, and now they're trying to figure out, oh my God, what do we do? Well, first rule is this: you don't count on anything from the system, because the system has utterly failed us already, and it's planned failure. Nothing that would come up with a viable, reasonable, and useful solution is going to come from government in any way, shape, or form. They are failure, and they are planned failure. They got us here. The education system, this government got us here. The money system, this government got us here. This government. Not our form of government, but this government that we have right now intentionally betraying us left, right, up, and down, to the Chinese, to the Middle Eastern, the Middle Eastern turds, and a whole bunch of other people. So we're in the thick of it. But anyway, just real quick, it's Bjorn Andres Bull Hansen. That's the channel. It's over on YouTube. Go back through his videos and take a look at some of the stuff. Pretty interesting, as a matter of fact. And just, quiet. It's quiet talk. It's not, Mark shouts sometimes, or I get noisy on the radio here. But very calm, very peaceful, but, very thoughtful, meticulous, which is something that you need. You need to reboot once in a while. Another thing where we got about 10 minutes. Hey, Larry, I got to do this, guys. A couple of you that made orders last Friday, listen up. If you placed an order last Friday, the order came in. But for whatever reason, all of those people on that day, your mailing address was not in the body of the document. Okay, it wasn't where it's supposed to be. I do not know why, but it was all on Friday. It was no other day. Everybody else has been fine. So again, a heads up: you got to make sure that if you're going to order one of the Axion red, blue, green sites, I'm going to walk through it again, but make sure that you have the mailing address. Put it in the comment section. You can put it in more than one place, I believe. Well, I know you can. You can put it in the comments where it's like, how many do you want? In the body of the comment section, write your address. It's going to be printed, so I will be able to read it, okay? It's going to be printed out. However, we got a couple people. If you placed your order on Friday, 1 for 10, which I don't have a problem with. Somebody wanted 10. We've got that, but we have to have an address to send it to. So here's what I need. Do me a favor. You know who you are. Send me an email at liberty@provide.net. liberty@provide.net. Everybody else has been hundreds of these things gone out, but it was just Friday, and it's weird because it was just that window. So go to liberty@provide.net and shoot me your mailing address. And first of all, you tell me what you got. That way I'll know for sure I can line it up with the name. I'm not just going to shoot this out to anybody. And how many did you request? That way I can line it up with your name, and that way somebody else isn't fiddle farting with your stuff, because all of them were multiples. So anyway. Take care of that right away.
Mark, unless they ordered with a credit card, we should have a returning email address to send back to them.
No, I do have the email, and I already sent emails out to all the individuals.
Okay.
So I did do that. I already got
check
that.
Their email, and it should be in there, and just respond with that email.
Exactly.
As long as your email is up to date on your PayPal, too. I mean, that's another thing where we've had issues where people are still using PayPal, and the email address that they're using with PayPal is not up to date anymore. So.
Right. That's another thing. You got to make sure the information is up to date that you send if you're going to do that. Obviously, your card's going to work with PayPal. However, the money wouldn't get here. So if your material is all sitting here waiting. We don't have a problem with that. We've been getting the stuff out the day that you guys have sent the orders in, if we have an address. And everybody else listening, the only thing I will say is there is going to be a change in the price. In fact, I probably should wait, because we have to wait to see how many we have left with what we've had with everybody that's ordered. It doesn't make any difference. You'll get it for whatever price we already told you. But there is going to be a price increase on the site. It already took place. I know it did. The other thing, I was looking at another optic. We might get some and we might not. It is a 4x32 power rifle scope. Nice little package. Not fancy, nothing sophisticated, very simple. Unfortunately, somebody found out where it was, and they went from a 700 count inventory to about 100, and that was only in a few hours. So somebody found out where they were and that they had them and swooped in. So if I do get some, I'll bring it up on the air, but we're going to have to manage it differently, because we're only going to get so many, and then they're probably going to be gone. Of the red, blue, green, we got all we need. I made sure I anchored those before we started offering them. And a lot of people love them. I think everybody loves them. Everybody likes them. They work. They're very simple. There's nothing to write home about. It's the Axion red, blue, green dot sight. It is, there's 3 colors. You have 3 power settings, for each one, so you can intensify it. I would remind everybody again, because we have to be looking at combat operations. During the day, it doesn't make any difference what color you use for a dot. At night, I recommend the green dot. And the reason is, as you recall, when Don mentioned this many times when we did all the night vision videos, green light does not show up as significantly as the other colored lights do, other colors. Now, blue is pretty good, but green is best for being almost invisible. Now, that's why at night, because you may get backwash off of your sight. That's not very much, but guys, night vision, this starlight, remember, any light will be collected by a night vision device. So if you are going to use it at night, you want to use the green dot at night. You use the red or the blue dot during the day. Now, the blue, to a degree, a lot of people like for twilight, but that varies depending upon what color spectrums, what spectrum of the color dial you perceive with your vision, because I will point something out again, too. A lot of you have certain limited color blindness. Military used to do tests on this, remember? They'd ask you about color contrasting what you see. So understand with some of you that blue may not work well because of how you perceive images during the twilight periods, dawn and dusk. So blue may not be the option, which is good because you do have the red as an option. So if the red doesn't work for you, the blue should. So red, blue, and green. Of course, you might just keep it on one setting and be done with it. Of the three, red is most likely to be picked up by night vision. Used to be that would be our blackout color, and it is. It's actually the best color for your natural night vision. But red shows up quite well on green screen. On the other hand, green shows up hardly at all. Blue, not so much. So there's the scale. Okay, red would be hottest at night. Blue would be medium. Green would be best. During the day, any color you want. But again, during certain parts of the day, it's kind of, again, because of light collection, how you perceive, again, fracturing, the light being fractured by the prism effect of sunset or sunrise. All these are factors in how you perceive and see with optics. Always remember that. Another thing real quick is, again, batteries. That's the one thing I don't have a source for spare batteries. It's not a big deal because the batteries are common for the Axion units. But I would recommend look in the manual and go buy 4 or 5 extra, whatever a little card is, of decent quality batteries for that site and put them in your battle pack. If you're going to carry that Axion sight on your rifle, on your combat rig, you want a little card of those batteries on your combat gear, not in your backpack, on your combat rig. Now, I'm going to say that for a reason, because a lot of you have not necessarily had the money to invest in iron sights, but you are going to put an optical sight on your rifle. Most of the sights, one way or another, have some need for electronics, in other words, for power for electronics. Example, these are dot systems. They require illumination. Some of you have illuminated reticles on your rifle sights. They're going to require supplemental power if you want to continue to use those. You're going to need additional batteries. Okay, so always make that part of the formula. Now, it's especially critical with your red dot carriers if you don't right away get a set of iron sights. If you don't have a backup set of flip-up sights, you want to make sure that red dot's working all the time. That red, blue, green dot, you want that working all the time. So you must carry spare batteries. Do not make that mistake. Again, proper planning prevents piss poor performance. We got a lot of work to do. Don't forget, you're all carrying the same sight, but you're maybe the only one carrying batteries that remembered, and the other guys, if you want them to keep shooting at people and putting, bipeds down, you're going to want to make sure that maybe you have to put a battery in somebody else's rig because they screwed up. Now, it'd be best if you all carry spare batteries, and that way, for days on end, you'll still be working with them. Sound good? Sounds good. Anyway, Larry, anything else before we go, sir? We're almost to the top.
Well, I'm not sure what kind of batteries those take. I know we're approaching the holiday season, and Aldi's carries some of the cheaper Chinese batteries.
Yes, they do, as a matter of fact, yeah.
AAA batteries, 20 packs, about $5-6. You can't find those in domestic, ever-ready, those type of things. Those should be coming back in here with the Halloween season coming in. So if you want AAAs, AA's, Aldi has 20 packs for $5 or $6. They're Chinese alkaline batteries, though. And sometimes they pop, sometimes they don't. But they're cheap. So that's about all I've got there. But yeah, with all the focus on China, it's okay if Israel puts stingrays in Washington, D.C. and spies on us. It's okay if they, attack our people on 9/11 with our stinking CIA. That's okay. But no. We got to hate China. We got to use our military and go down and harass them down the Spratly Islands that they built, even though we signed a treaty saying that they could do that. We've got to go bother them. That's ridiculous, folks. Trump is the same garbage we've always had. So people are supposed to feel good about putting that piece of garbage back in. Not me. I made that mistake once. I'm not doing it again. I'm not voting for a lesser evil. I'm not voting for evil, period.
Well, you're voting for weevils. Remember Captain Commander or whatever it is? Remember they had the discussion at the dining table? The lesser of two weevils? Yes, but they're both weevils. I don't see the difference. Anyway, we are at the top. For everybody out there, guys, organize, arm, equip, and train as militia. Establish a 510 program in your area of operation. You're going to be fighting. Make sure you know who you're fighting, who's going to be beside you, and you'll be fighting with. And, again, how well are they able to perform? That's a matter of you. If you're the team leader, you've got to teach. And that means focusing on all the other basics, not just pulling a trigger. There's a lot of other stuff that's necessary to stay alive on the battlefield. God bless our republic.
Death eternal to the New World Order.
We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The Empire's on the run.
We're on the march both day and night.
Hoorah. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Mark.
God bless you all. We're going to take off for now. Ed taking over. More LTR coming up. Don't touch that dial. God bless. Bye-bye.